General Goldfein, then. We're 1,500 pilots short by the end of this calendar year, 1,300 of those fighter pilots, 3,000 maintainers short. I was a little unclear about how many aircraft short we're going to be.
Yeah, so I'd like to clear the record too, because Chairman, I said 1,500. I actually did the math wrong. Part of my philosophy degree. It's 2,031 is the current number of aircraft that we have on the inventory. The number of aircraft we need relative to all of the missions that we perform, and this is beyond fighters and bombers. This is big wing, command and control. This is intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance. This is across all of those. This is joint stars. This is compass call. All the missions we perform, those are the areas where we've got to recapitalize and modernize for the future to ensure that we have all of those mission areas covered.
Well, what figure will that be?
In terms of?
Well, we have 2,031 current. How many do we need?
1,900 combat-coded fighters is what we required. We're projecting 175 bombers. We are working right now a bomber roadmap that lays out a combination. One of the things that we're working hard on is that we have in the past rolled out plans after we've done all of our planning without actually including Congress in the dialogue. And so we're in the process right now of actually socializing our bomber roadmap that achieves the 175 total that we need.
Okay. Well, if you get your budget request this year, how many pilots short are we going to be and maintainers short are we going to be at the end of next year, at the end of 5 years?
So if there's no change, right now we're projecting that we'll be 1,300 fighter pilots alone short by the end of this year. That's just fighter pilots.
But you're asking for a budget number that would improve that, are you not?
We are.
Okay, and so how are we going to, if you get your numbers, how are we going to look in 5 years?
Well, our hope, based on all the things that we're doing, that's why I described it, is there's not one thing that we're doing, it's 100 things that we're going after that go after both quality of service and quality of life, because we're not going to buy our way out of this with money. There's no way we're going to be ever be able to offer.
You can't give us that number about
what will look
how
like
you hope to look in 5 years?
Yes.
Are we still going to be 1,500 pilots short in 5 years?
I hope that we're not. And I say hope.
Can you do that based on your budget request?
We can definitely get started. But we don't know yet. For instance, pilot bonus, a classic example.
What does get started mean, General?
Sir, what it means is that we put in place those measures that start moving forward on increasing quality of service and quality of life across the pilot force. So, budget has the aircraft bonus in it this year. We're going to have to assess to see how that works relative to how many we retain.
I think it suffices to say it's hard for you to give us specific numbers to project. Let me do this. I think Senator Inhofe mentioned the general public. Help the general public understand what we are not getting done now because of these shortfalls. What can we not do? Help the taxpayer understand why this is crucial to us.
Sarah, one of the things that happened after sequester and ISIS reared its ugly head in Iraq and Syria, the Air Force and the rest of the services did what they should do. They surged to the fight. And that means we have pilots in the desert fighting and putting 26,000 airstrikes on the ISIS target since 2014. 26,000. That's more airstrikes than we did in Operation Desert Storm. So, or rather, Iraqi Freedom. So they are in that fight, but that is not a high-end, near-peer kind of fight. What we're most worried about is that those crews, when they come back, are not ready for some of the potential high-end conflicts that we might face where there is integrated air defense and where we do have to fight in order to own the airspace over any potential adversary. That's where the risk is. And it's not that we wouldn't surge to that fight, but the losses would be higher, and it would be a harder fight.
Are our allies and our adversaries having this same problem with pilot shortages?
Yes.
Specifically Britain, specifically Russia, China?
Well, the airlines are a global industry, and we're seeing it in the other services in the United States, and we're also seeing a shortage globally of pilots. The chief mentioned the number of pilots that are being hired annually by the airlines. It's actually higher than the airlines themselves predicted. That they were, so you know, they were predicting about 3,200. I think last year they hired 4,500 or something like that. So it was higher than they initially projected. There's a demand for pilots, and it is a global demand.
And sir, just to be clear, because you had said allies and adversaries, we do see that our allies are facing them. And as an international air chief, I have discussions with all of my allies to talk about what, because this movie is coming to a theater near them. But I cannot say that for our adversaries. We've seen no indications of a slowdown for adversaries.
Thank you.